Hey guys, welcome to Retail Rescue, survival strategies for the brick and mortar pro shop. Sponsored by Easy V Sites, I'm Aaron and Inside Archery. Stay tuned for this week's tip of the week. Hey guys, welcome back to Retail Rescue. I'm Aaron and we've been talking about what it is that you have over the big box stores and of course the internet and the ever-changing game. What you have is your community, okay? Everybody's, again, over and over and over, but everyone's carrying a smartphone. I can buy anything that you have in your store and it's going to come right to my door. So why get in my car? Why drive to your store? Why look around your store to decide if something in your store is what it is that I'm looking for, in the color that I want, the size that I want, and the price that I want? That's a game really tough. But you're in the business of selling bow hunting gear. So I want to explore what it is that you have to offer your community. And it's as simple as a cup of coffee. Getting involved in your community can be done in so many different ways. I want to focus on your range. Hopefully you have somewhere to shoot. This is something, again, that the big box stores don't have. I get bored in a big box store. It's cool. You go in there, they got maybe some mounts on the wall or whatever, but after just a short period of time, if I haven't found what I need, I'm out of there in just a few minutes. And I rarely bump into stuff in there that I didn't plan on purchasing. But with your range, that is a magnet. There's so many things you can do in there. Obviously, running leagues through the winter, but running the right leagues, pulling the right community. Invite the 4-H kids over. Invite the Cub Scouts. Get a hold of those leaders in your community and say, hey, how would you guys like to pop balloons tonight and introduce your guys to archery? There is a community out there that you can bring in and cater to and be the archery expert, growing archery in your community. There's groups. I'm going to show you a quick clip. We went out to the archery range the other day, to the gun range, a sportsman's range in our community, and worked with the Wild Turkey Foundation. We're going to talk about that a little bit. There's groups and auctions and different events to reach out to your community and pull them in. I used to do, of course, kids leagues, and I did adult leagues, but don't forget the couples league, okay? Going to the movies is a cool couples date. Shooting a 3D league together, or even a target league as couples, okay? You don't have to get matching bowling shirts, but bringing it in as a community, as a family, hosting those different leagues that select those different target groups can grow and grow in your area. And then return the favor. If you've invited the scouts in for that night and they shot balloons all night and they've checked out your store and implanted that if and whenever I want to buy archery gear, this is the place I'm going to go, on one of those other big sale events that we talked about, you call those Cub Scouts back again and say, hey, would you guys come down and cook the hot dogs for me? I'm doing a great big, and they'll return the favor. They'll give some horsepower. Christmas time, they can come gift wrap presents for donations for their Cub Scout troop. But building relationships in your community with these groups can pay tremendous dividends. The range, if they're out there shooting, they're in your, for just that little bit of time, their smartphone is in their pocket, right? You have them as a controlled environment sales strategy. I want them to hang out as long as they can. I provide popcorn. So we're making nachos for the league. I didn't give them away. They were $1. Free coffee, obviously, but the more time they're in your store, the more chance they're going to buy something. You can't give your range away. It costs a lot of money. The overhead, my accountant kind of, if you break it down to the square foot, the range isn't making money. But don't overcharge for it either. This is your attractant. This is your draw to the community. So, first of all, I would never, ever, ever give somebody a dozen arrows if you buy a bow. I never gave inventory away with this package. I might reduce the whole package as we talked about, clearance items. Last year's bows, you condense them, make a package, and take a little off the price. But it was never, if you buy a bow, you get a free bow case. What you got was a month pass on my range. Every time they bought a bow, they got a month pass because they're excited about their new sport. They have money to burn in this sport, and I want them in my building looking at my stuff. If they walk in off the street just to shoot, I charged them $5 for the day to shoot my bales, not by the hour. That's too much like work. Hey, I punched in at 1:12. That means I have till 2:12 to shoot my so many arrows. they won't leave this. They'll be shooting their arrows. Instead, I did a $5 for the day pass on my bales, and then they would shoot for 15 minutes. They get a little tired. They go back into the showroom, and they're looking around at other stuff, letting their muscles relax. You could spend some time hanging out. I'd have them in my store then for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Great chance they're going to look at, buy, test new bows, incorporate some of your inventory into their day. So $5 for the day pass. Shoot a little, shop a little. Shoot a little, shop a little. Works out really, really well. Do not give it away. That range is your, again, it is your magnet. So I used it in all kinds of different ways. I had extra room. I was in a rural community, so I built a 10,000 square foot building. I went to the Polaris dealer, the guy that sold the ATVs and stuff, and I worked out a deal with him. They have ATVs with racks, right? So many bow hunters also have an ATV, camouflage, and they've got bow holders on the front of the ATV. I put one of my bows in his display, in his store, with a bunch of my cards and brochures, the flagship bow for the year, so that he could send bow hunters my way. In return, I put his four-wheeler, they brought a four-wheeler down, and put that in my range. Again, with a bow on the hooks and the whole bow hunting package. Cross-marketing with different businesses can help. Reaching out to your community and pulling those in, whether you're going out and doing volunteer groups. I did some seminars at different events, telling people, introducing them about bow hunting. A bow and a pack of balloons out there, you can bring them in to your brick and mortar. Lastly, this is a touchy subject, I would never buy used bows. There's no money in it. However, I would consign them. And within reason, okay? I learned my lesson. We had 40 old junky bows that weren't worth $25 when this started, and that's not the way to do it. Do it or don't, but this is one way that it worked for me, and I'm going to tell you, excuse me, a lot of reasons why. The brands that we carry, and I had most of them, Matthews, PSE, Hoyt, Bear, those brands, if it's 3, 4, 5 years old, good condition stuff, nothing dangerous, they could hang it on my hook. And I shrunk it down, so I only had 12 hooks. We had 12 consignment bows in the store about at any given time. And I would take 10% off the bat, and once that bow sold, they got 90% store credit in a gift certificate. I kept the 10% for the hanging fee, if you will. That was cash that went into Aaron's hunting fund. Don't tell the IRS, but that's inventory that wasn't tracked. You got to do that a little bit. But those bows, if a guy wants to buy the new bow, but he can't until he sells his old bow, that gives him an avenue to get rid of that bow within your store and pull that traffic into your store rather than selling it out the back door to his buddy or putting it on eBay or something. So this actually helped the situation. When that bow sold, they would get 90% of that fee. If it sold for $100, they would get a $90 gift certificate towards their new bow. Well, in a psychological way, once they hang that used bow on the rack, it's as good as sold. At least he can go home and tell his wife that, honey, oh yeah, they're going to sell my old one, no problem, so I came home with the new one. That's a done deal. And most times it is. We sold a lot of used bows. But also, instead of me insulting him as if he were going to buy it and tell him, you know, that bow's only worth $125 now because it's 5 years old. He goes, I paid $400 for it. I know, but it's worth this. Instead, you have a mutual agreement. You come to a good price that you know it has a real good chance of selling, yet he's comfortable with it, and he's going to apply that towards his new bow. So, again, he feels that bow is already sold the minute it gets on the hook. So he buys that new bow and goes home with it. And if it's a month when that bow finally sells, well, then he spends that money on arrows or a new sight for that new bow. But it sells a lot of new bows. It sells a lot of used bows that you can actually make money on. But more importantly, it brings that community traffic. That's where I'm going with this, is that weekly that wall would change. Like a lot of my inventory, but there's always a steal of a deal on that wall. So I would have guys come by every Friday on their way home from work, swing in, and remember your traffic patterns. I had it at the back where the milk would be in the convenience store, but every week that traffic would come in and go look at that consignment wall to see what's happening there. has my bow sold if I'm hanging a bow, or is there a great deal on there that I should be aware of? So doing consignment bows really helps that traffic. I hope you consider it. Make it work for your store. That worked really well for my store. But reaching out to the community, your range is really important. Don't give it away, but don't overcharge for it, and pull that traffic through your brick and mortar store. There's only so many things that you have that Amazon doesn't. We have to expand and multiply and use those things to your advantage. I'm Aaron from Retail Rescue. We're going to see you next week. Keep on keeping on.